Somewhere in time, a half-elven woman looks up from the book she's reading, her breath uneven a bit as she closes her eyes, the echo of wind slipping past her ears. After a moment, she collects herself. She closes the book after marking her page and turns, picking up another large tome. For a moment, she stares at the cover, tracing her fingertip along the golden, elaborate filigree of two words, the Feywild. The book is leather-bound, the material supple and soft beneath her fingers, grand in its being, far more grand than the book she had just been reading. She glances at the spine, noting the lack of creases. This had been a book the archivist had to dig for. It was found in the corner in a spell-locked box. Someone long ago had gone to a lot of effort to make sure this book was not read by someone inferior. With that feeling hanging over her head, the feeling of doing something she should not be doing, the half-elven woman opens the book and begins to read. The Feywild is a lush land filled with the purest form of magic. It runs rampant and free, shifting the land and its people around in unbridled chaos. Time can mean nothing. It can be fluid and disorienting, swimming around like an anxious fish, or it can be slow and meandering, a bear waking up from hibernation. Magic is a living, breathing thing, choosing their favorites to bestow favor upon. Magic can either be the best thing in your life or the leader of your demise. The beings of the Feywild are often born from its soil, born in the caress of magic. Some come from other planes, depending, and its temperament can lead to many different lineages thriving. Before it settled into the ruling of three entities, territory wars were commonplace and expected, as many different archfey claimed small parcels of land and defended them with fury and iron fists. These archfey were champions of magic, beings that learned how to control it and use it for gain. To them, magic was a bludgeoning tool. Two archfey decided that they had had enough and conspired together to unite the Feywild and bring about an era of peace. Titania and Nemeth toiled away, taking bits of land one at a time and slaughtering those who stood in their way. Learning how to play magic like a violin rather than swing it like a mace. In the end, they controlled the majority of the Feywild together, succeeding in their mission. One day, a prophecy was handed to Titania and Nemeth, a prophecy that detailed a major shift in the tenuous peace the two had crafted out of bloodshed. This prophecy has been lost, and it is unsure if that was by design. It was never written down, it was given to them straight from the mouth of the prophet themselves. Whatever this prophecy detailed in its entirety, it caused Titania and Nemeth to part, splitting the Feywild down the middle. Titania's portion became the Seelie. She became queen and has ruled in the realm of goodness, bringing experts in their field into the fold and creating the Seelie court. From her castle in the crown jewel that is Fellismore, she meets with her people and does what she can to create order and serenity. Nemeth's portion, naturally, became the opposite. The Unseelie is a dark and foreboding wood, filled with danger and untamable magic. He created his own circle, the Unseelie court, filled with the seediest of individuals. King Nemeth reigns from Dranidia, sitting in his throne and smiling as he gazes upon that which he has sown. There is another portion of the Feywild, one that is untouched by either Queen Titania or King Nemeth. It is called the In-Between, a power without a ruler, but a guider. This is the way the Feywild has been for a very, very long time. It is a way that is stable, self-sufficient, a way that all three parties involved are happy with. It is a way that will soon be uprooted. The half-elven woman's attention is pulled from the page as a rustling from within the shelf next to her erupts. Another woman, a friend, grimaces. Sorry, quickly picking up the stack of heavy books she'd just dropped. The half-elven woman nods, smiling softly at the other woman, then looks back down at her book and turns the page.
A note regarding content warnings. This campaign is a dark fantasy that deals consistently with topics of body horror, complicated relationship dynamics, emotional distress, fantasy violence, gore, mechanized spiders, mental health and illness, profanity, and romantic and sexual relationships. A full list of episode-specific content warnings can always be found in the show notes of each episode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tales of Three. But most importantly, welcome to Arc 2. We are in the Feywild!
Woo-hoo! Last time, we left off with our 3 unlucky ones falling off of a cliff, and Ivy's wizard tower looming above them. They escaped what was probably certain doom when Ivy felt a release of pressure within her hand, the place where her magic is housed. Then, a mysterious someone spoke in her head and opened a portal, transporting them to, well, you'll find out in a second.
There's a ton more that led to this moment, and Dusty did a wonderful recap called The Story So Far.
Yeah.
If you need a little bit of a deep refresher, check it out.
Yes, and you can probably find it below this episode wherever you listen to your podcasts. But anyway, I'm Dusty. My pronouns are they, she, and I play Ivy Nightbreeze Tinkerfey, whose pronouns are she, her.
And I am Ariana. My pronouns are she, her, and I usually play Alara Spinelspark, whose pronouns are she, her, but today I am playing some other people.
Are you?
Yeah.
Possibly with pronouns, who knows?
Oh, yes.
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 Hello, everyone. My name is Waira. My pronouns are she, they, and I usually play Varys, whose pronouns are he, they, but he's MIA right now, and I'm just here to listen.
All right, so we won't keep you any longer. Let's go on to the story.
On to the story.
To the story.
Let's go. A new arc of our story opens not on our 3 unlucky heroes, but instead we open, dear listener, on a butterfly. Opalescent in color, aside from 2 golden yellow spots on either wing that look very much like 2 eyes. This butterfly soars high above a massive walled city. The sun shines brighter and warmer than any creature on Elisora has ever experienced. There is a haze of magic that hangs almost lazily in the air, the entire place seemingly bubbling with the potency of it, waiting for the hint of a spark to ignite the arcane energy. It would be a strange sensation were our butterfly not used to such an occurrence. It soars over a pristine cobblestone road that leads from the gates of this opulent city of light, passing over a main road lined with well-to-do shops, eateries, and inns, all made of stone, all built by experienced masons. Some with gold trims or extensive lattice-worked windows or filigree. Some shops have marble stone statues crafted by the most talented hands. One thing you will notice, dear listener, about each of these shops is, of course, the finery, the opulence. But each shop has a sign hanging outside the front door made of living wood. The shop name carved in the same script, neat and delicate, and next to each name is a butterfly. A butterfly that looks identical to the one that now flutters by groups of summer Eladrin going about their day, enjoying the leisure and safety of the light afforded to them by their good queen. It flies past bobbing orbs of light powered by arcane energy alone. It flies past a person walking down the road, their heavy trunk floating weightlessly beside them. Off in the distance, a castle stands tall, its spires of white marble standing in tiers, with the highest one whose pointed roof is made of gold. Brightly colored petals of ancient wisteria trees can be seen lining the walls of the castle grounds, some looking as though they have woven their roots and petals into the castle itself, as if this castle were a living, breathing thing. The butterfly soars up and up and up, cresting the first circle of tiered spires, and then the second, and then the third. And somewhere up in the clouds, it lands on a gold-adorned window and looks in, not on the court of mostly summer Eladrin, or the elegantly designed room of concentric circles where a great tree has transformed itself into a looking glass for this court to gaze upon. But instead, it flutters its wings, waiting. Sitting at the head of this circle, the single in a group of 14 pairs, sits a summer Eladrin, whose knee-length, long golden wheat hair is braided and adorned with flowers. Her chiffon gown almost plain in contrast to the network of vining white roses that adorn it. And the rings of her golden eyes flash blindingly white for a moment as the butterfly, also outlined in a flash of white, melds into a carving of itself etched into the wood of the window frame. And the slightest incline of her head sends an Eladrin, summer like the rest, out the oversized wooden doors at the far end of the room. A voice speaks. And what of Kindron? The book said that Queen Titania's voice was like a song when she was trying to lure innocent people to their doom. and like a demon when she revealed her true nature. In truth, her voice was just like any other voice, albeit strong and commanding. A summer Eladrin stands before this round table, their golden armor smudged with ash and soot and blood. They hold their helmet under their arm, keeping their heads slightly inclined, never making eye contact with anyone at the table, though every pair of mostly golden eyes is watching them intently. They wear a circular crest on their chest, with a butterfly and 2 swords etched into it. A citrine gem inlaid above the butterfly denotes they serve the paladins. Your Grace, I am sad to report that our force was unable to beat back the blight that spreads from the Unseelie. I have come to ask, and they incline their head toward the 2 Eladrin at the table, who wear the same crest. The only difference is that theirs has 4 additional citrine gems on the bottom of the crest, denoting the highest rank, that of a council person to the Queen. The soldier continues, I have come to ask that you send more aid. The paladins look to their queen. Titania nods, and her eyes soften. The flowers adorning her person seem to open more and bend towards the soldier. As she is about to speak, there is a whir in the air. That spark of arcane energy I told you about before ignites in a flash. With a twitch of her finger, the looking glass dissipates, and out of it grows this massive tree whose thick roots settle underneath the floorboards. Everyone in the room goes to stand. The changeling wizards, who until now sat so still you may have mistaken them for statues, their gray skin so smooth and featureless it could be stone. They stand, their pupilless, smoky gray eyes shifting to black as they ready their weapons, their hands, to cast. Titania shakes her head, a warning for them to stand down, and with a flick of her right hand, the queen pulls on the strings that weave together magic in the Feywild. She cocks her head slightly, calming, a skip of a beat of her heart. She feels a familiar presence vibrating the threads. She twists her wrist, and with a flourish, her fingers now pulsing with a slight, sparkly pink energy. She directs that force of arcane energy, the one that is familiar to her, not caring for the other energies she feels trying to make their way through. This is curious, unexpected. But she pulls on that familiar one, willing it to her, scattering the others to the wind. They are of no concern to her, and they will go where the weave places them. It's a delicate process, and her court watches in awe as the queen plucks at the invisible strings that twitch to life for a moment as pink energy twinkles. And as she pulls, something pulls back. She frowns and stands to her full 10-foot willowy height. Not a sound is heard in the room as Titania twists her hand in a practiced motion and throws it out to her side. A flutter of arcane energy tinged with pink pools in the spot where she points, forming a circle, akin to an arcane cloud. Another crackle of energy lashes out, a greenish-black hue, and with her left palm she pushes forward, willing that energy back to where it came from, and she pulls forward with her right. The cloud rips open, and for a moment we see a cascade of stars, smattered upon a night sky, and one direwolf made of bones lands with a thud on the wooden floors of the throne room. Ivy, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
16.
Okay, I think with a 16, you're able to land firmly on your feet. And as soon as you land, Titania kind of straightens and she looks at the court, who is just looking, everybody with like wide eyes at what just happened. And she looks around the room and she says, "Everyone out. Court is dismissed." As she says that, the beautiful blooms on her dress and in her hair begin to wilt. And you will watch as everyone starts filing out of this room. I think that you see the 2 paladins. I don't think hesitate is the word, but they wait and kind of let everybody go before them.
The wolf is snarling at anybody who gets even a little bit too close. She is in a defensive crouch.
So I think like amongst a crowd as it starts to like file out at Titania's insistence, there's at least one person whose feet is firmly rooted in place. They're about 5'8", obvious high elven features, with like light brown, kind of almost dirty blonde hair to their shoulder, kind of wisped back a bit. And he's just watching the scene unfold before him. Baz is not going anywhere. His feet are firmly planted to the ground, staring wide-eyed at what he knows is his daughter somewhere in there. And he's not going to leave her alone. even at the queen's insistence.
So at Basil's side, standing about 2 inches taller than him, very straight-backed, kind of prim and proper looking, also long blonde hair, golden skin, very much in the summer Eladrin form, also wearing a gown. Vassell leans in close to Basil's ear. Basil, darling, we must do as our queen asks us.
I will not leave our daughter behind.
I think you see, I think the audience notice that Titania's very elongated elven ears are angled towards Basil and Vassell, almost as if she knew that there was going to be a problem. And I think she has her right hand out towards the wolf, ready to act if she needs to, but she does turn away from the wolf towards Basil and looks specifically at you, Basil. And she goes, Basil, you would defy a command from your queen? Go now. I will not repeat my words.
I'm not leaving her.
Do you recall what happened last time?
I do, vividly, and that's why I'm not leaving.
I can control her, but I do not need any distraction. I will not ask you again, and you will not defy me again. Go. And Vassell is like, I think that she links arms with you and starts trying to like usher you towards the door. And Basil, you will notice that the paladins are both standing on either side of the door.
He does not want to go. I think his eyes are, he hasn't even looked at to acknowledge the queen once. His eyes the whole time have been focused on the Bonewolf.
The wolf is currently like, there's like a low rumbling in her chest, like a warning. She's obviously like, she doesn't know what's happening. So she's just sort of like going between whatever voice she hears, she's looking at.
Okay. Like a predator who feels like
backed into a corner.
With all due respect, my queen, I'm not going anywhere.
Vassell, I think, audibly sighs at your side.
He loves his girl. I can't. I'm sorry.
Roll a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Oh, I don't know if I can get much worse than that. Oh, and it did.
No.
It's a 3.
Oh boy.
But he means it.
Titania nods to Lysandra and Xandros, the 2 paladins who are standing at the door. And Vassell looks at you as you hear Lysandra and Xandros, who are wearing this like pristine ceremonial court armor. You hear them start to move towards you, and Vassell leans in again and she whispers, Basil, darling, do not let them drag you out of here. She will let us see her once it is safe.
I think he looks at Vassell and he looks very sad. I don't want to leave her. You know how upset she is.
I believe it is for the best. Walk out with your head held high. I will stand at the door with you until she lets us in.
He looks at Ivy. Darling, we'll be right outside. We're right here for you. And he'll reluctantly turn and, as Vassell had said, walk out with his head held high.
And you'll see that Lysandra and Xandros will kind of incline their heads as they, they weren't like coming to like drag you. Yeah.
They might have had to.
And Vassell will kind of incline her head to Titania, walk out and close the door, leaving one Bonewolf and one queen of the Seelie court. What does the wolf do now that they're alone? Titania turns to her, I think.
She's just growling.
I think that Titania kind of sighs. Ivy, come out of there. You are safe. You are with me. It is your Aunt Tanya.
I think the wolf like briefly looks up for a moment, like looking for the portal. Doesn't see it, and then like looks around and gets a little bit more antsy.
I think that Titania like crouches down so that she's not towering over you. And I think she kind of puts her hand out. I think maybe there's like 5 feet between the 2 of you. And she goes, Sweet girl, please do not make me force you. I knew it was foolish to send you there. What happened?
I think she does take a small step forward, but it's very like tentative.
I think that when the wolf takes a step closer, Titania smiles a little bit. The hand that she had poised, I think, to essentially have to subdue the wolf if she needed to. She kind of just flicks her wrist out, and you watch as this kind of sparkly pink energy flies off to about 10 feet away from the both of you. And as it settles, it reveals like an easel with a canvas on it and some paint supplies on the floor. And she goes, "If you will come out, we can paint just like we used to, and we can talk. Ivy, you are safe here."
I think the wolf's genuinely like, you can see the wolf is deliberating it. And then she remembers what just happened.
She kind of puts her right palm out as if she's going to hold something, and she runs her left hand around it a few times until this little orb of sparkling pink light begins to form. And once it's there, she kind of holds it out towards you, Ivy, and it kind of floats out towards the wolf, hovers around you for a second, and then settles in the space essentially in your throat where vocal cords would be.
Okay.
And this is familiar to the wolf. This has happened before. And now, if she chooses to, the wolf can speak.
You hear, for the first time since that night, falling.
Titania nods. That does sound quite awful. Falling where?
She takes another deep breath, searching. Hi.
Are you hurt? Injured?
She shakes her head.
Do you feel safer like this?
She nods slowly, and then goes, "How? Here."
Titania kind of shakes her head. I was hoping you would tell me that, sweet girl. Make an insight check.
Yeah. 23.
She got a 24.
That was so close.
Holy shit.
So, Wolf Ivy.
Uh-huh.
So I think that with our 23-24, for the briefest moment, like a flicker, not even a full blink's worth, you see like a twitch in the corner of her mouth. Like she has this kind of tight-lipped right now. You can tell that she's like clenching her jaw. And before she answers, there is the slightest twinge in the corner of her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like she went to say something and then stopped herself. You're not really sure.
I don't think there's like a critical thought on that because she's now so focused on trying to speak, which is taking a lot. I just think she just nods. And then I think she looks around again and goes, Friends.
Friends.
She nods and looks around some more.
Well, they are not here. But if you will come out, I can help you find them. Perhaps they landed somewhere else.
I think she levels Titania with a look that Titania's never seen from Ivy or the wolf before. And she goes, find first.
Do you not think it would be easier for me to help you find them if I could talk to you, Ivy? It will be faster.
I think she continues to give this like look to Titania. And then you watch her head lift up a little bit. And she goes, not Ivy.
Make another insight check.
It's not as good. 14.
No, forget it. She straightens. That is why I am asking for you to let her go and give her back to me. And I want to be clear. I am doing you a kindness by asking.
I think the wolf is silent for a bit, almost like uncomfortably long.
Titania just stares at where the wolf's eyes would be.
I think after a little bit, she like snarls, and you watch as that mist starts to slowly come up from her paws. And just before it like encircles her, she says, pack first. And then the wolf is gone and Ivy's laying incapacitated basically on the ground.
Before that, and I think simultaneously, while this conversation is happening, unbeknownst completely to Ivy, I want you to tell me, Dusty, where does Ivy go when the wolf takes over?
I think she goes to the woods, but it's a woods that looks like the scene that she painted in her room.
Okay.
So if she were to like take a photo of the woods in the place that she goes to and holds it up against what she painted, it's like near identical. I think her bed is in the middle of this area, and it gets to a certain point in her eye level where like the woods sort of close in so tightly that she knows she wouldn't be able to leave even if she tried to like venture in.
Okay. So I think, Ivy, you hear a boom resound inside of your skull, and your eyes fly open, and you're in your bed in the middle of this forest, but something is different. I need you to make a perception check, please.
Dirty 20.
Nice. So at first glance, everything looks pretty much the same. And I think what draws your attention is that you realize as everything kind of comes into focus for you, the last thing you remember was falling off of a mountain. But you're alive. You must be alive, right? Because you're here. You would assume if you died, you would just be dead. As everything starts to come into focus, you hear this like guttural wailing sound. It's not like when you fought the banshee, that kind of like undead screech. This is a scream from someone's like lower belly, like this is an angry sound. And you also hear, accompanied with that, almost like a whooshing of flame. And I don't know that you would know that offhand. I think you're able to piece together because it's accompanied by the smell of something burning. What do you do?
I immediately get out of bed and I start to look around.
Okay. So you do, and I think you can follow the noise, you can follow the sound. And I think you walk for a little bit towards the edge of the forest where it gets so dense that you typically are just kind of cornered off and you go back to your bed and wait, right, for the wolf to be done. There's something here in this direction, I think, that wasn't there before. There is the tiniest sliver of a parting in between two of these trees. Typically, it gets so dense that you can only see wood. They're just kind of tree on top of tree. As you hone in, you realize that there is a little sliver of space that you can kind of see through.
I go up to the space and look through it.
Okay. So you have to kind of get on the ground and kneel to see where this wood splits. It's almost like a keyhole. That's how small it is. And you see through just enough, and you can make out a figure standing there with its back to you. Long burgundy hair is whipping wildly, and it looks like both hands are out in front of them, and there's fire spewing out from, you would assume, their hands. If your eyes follow this trail of flame, you see in front of this figure is a wall of ice, thick and seemingly impenetrable. You feel it, that there is layer upon layer of cold, unforgiving ice there. You know that no amount of fire is going to get through. Make another perception check.
19.
So as you kind of look where the fire is centered on this wall of ice, you can kind of make out that there is another figure frozen in the ice. It's blurry, but you can make out a glow of green and like a smattering of this kind of pastel color palette. I think that it reminds you of springtime. And you watch this figure with the fire is screaming and trying to melt the ice. And as she screams, making no progress, you become aware of your own heartbeat beating in your chest. And I think with each beat of your heart, something starts to grow inside of you. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, Boise. Okay. Oh, that's not great. 11?
As this intense feeling in your chest starts to grow, Ivy, you feel this fear wash over you. And suddenly you are extremely frightened. What do you do?
I think I back away and like turn my body to look away from what's happening. Cause I think I feel like maybe that's the sense of my fear for some reason. Maybe I'm seeing something that I shouldn't be and now I'm going to get punished. I think I wait and see if the feeling is lessened by looking away.
The feeling does not go away.
Okay. I start walking back then to the bed.
Okay. Are you going quietly?
Yes.
Or are you rushing back?
Well, actually, I'm fearful. No, I'm not going quietly.
So I think that as you go, not quietly, you step on a branch. The wailing stops. Like you hear your foot hit the branch, and now it's dead silent. The sound of the fire stops, and the screaming stops. What do you do?
I think I turn slowly.
So you turn around. And no, you don't see anything. You can still make out that little sliver of space in the wall. Clearly, even though you've moved maybe 10 or 15 feet away from it by this point. And as soon as your eyes kind of drift over that spot, right? Making sure like it's still there, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like tunnel vision. You feel yourself being propelled forward fast, like almost out of body experience. So quick that you feel like you're going to slam into this tree, but you stop right there and you feel your knees give out and you fall to your knees and you're looking right through this sliver again. And as you look through, this person, this woman, whips around to face you. And in a hiss of flame, before you can even make eye contact with her, before you can even see her, before you can comprehend who she might be, she explodes in a burst of flame, and left in her wake are dead leaves, scattered on a wind that you don't feel. There is a moment of peace, there is a moment of quiet, and then those leaves rush through out towards you, and suddenly you are surrounded by these burned up leaves. They're kind of singed on the end. Some of them are still kind of glowing with like the embers of a fire, and they surround you and they float harmlessly to the ground. Do you do anything?
I think I stand there for a moment like, hey, what the fuck? I think I kick one of the leaves.
You kick one of the leaves?
Toe it with my boot.
As you kick one of the leaves, toe it with your boot, you take 1 point of fire damage.
Damn.
It doesn't burn your foot.
Oh.
It's not coming from the leaf itself.
Where is it coming from?
I think you feel a quick burning sensation in the palm of your left hand.
I think I go, and like rub my hand a little bit, and then I sidestep over the leaves.
Mm-hmm. Make an acrobatics check.
Okay.
Yeah. To get through them.
That's an 11.
So I think that as you are kind of trying to tiptoe around, you take another 2 points of fire damage as you inadvertently step on 2 other leaves.
Great. Love that for me.
But if you're going back to your bed?
Yeah. I'm over this.
So I think you go back to your bed, and for the rest of your time in this space, it's just like it is every other time.
That's so weird.
I think some more time goes by. I think time is weird. Even weirder here than it is in the Feywild. What's the sensation feel like when you're being pulled back to like reality?
I think I start to feel really, really cold. But not like a hurting cold.
Yeah.
I think it's like the cold when you come in from being super cold and the top of your skin isn't cold, but like you feel it still in your bones.
Yeah. Yes, I know exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's that type of cold.
I think very suddenly that feeling surrounds you. Next thing you know, you're being awoken. So you wake up to a very familiar voice, the voice of your Aunt Tanya. You feel her hand, I think, on your shoulder. Ivy, come back, wake up.
I think she like groans a bit and she goes, Antonia?
I think she helps you sit up. Ivy, thank the light. You are back. Are you harmed?
She shakes her head after like taking a little bit of stock, and she sits up. She goes, no, how did I get here?
You were deposited right here. You came through a portal. Did you?
I think she looks up and like rubs her head a bit.
You are not harmed. That is what is most important. The rest can wait. You can rest. You can relax for as long as you need. I will bring you up to my private quarters and you can stay. I need you to be safe.
I think she looks around the room, like obviously looking for somebody. Where's Bia and Alara and Varys?
Bia did not. Ivy, she did not come through with you. And I do not know who these other two are.
I think of that she stands very quickly.
Make a Constitution save.
18.
You are feeling a resurgence of energy because you're like, I need to find my friends. So
yeah.
You get like woozy for a second and you're like, I don't have time for that right now.
I need to find my daughter. I need to find my friends.
Yeah.
And I think she tests the connection that she has with Bia.
You test the connection and you feel Bia, frantic. She's looking for you. And I think that when she feels you, I think that it shocks her for a moment and it takes her a second to calm down.
Mm-hmm.
So I think as soon as she realizes that you're there, you see flashes. You see her fly up away from you. You see her slam into Varys and like claw on. You see her watching you disappear into a portal. And then seconds later, she falls through. She comes out alone. You see her slam into a tree. And she tries to get her wings to kind of grant flight, but she hits another branch on the way. And I think one has kind of poked through the membrane of her wing.
Mm.
And she's okay, but she's currently on the ground nursing her wound.
Mm-hmm. Can I tell where she is?
Make a perception check, I think.
13.
For a moment, it's hard to make out. She's kind of in some underbrush. And I think once she realizes that it's hard for you she can't communicate where she is based on this, she kind of walks out slowly. And it takes you a moment, but you recognize this is the spot where her old nest was when she was abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that she's by the lake.
I think a lot of emotions are flitting through her face right now. But I think at the end of it, she sort of nods.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, all right, Bia's at the lake.
That is good. She is alive.
Mm-hmm. She's hurt. She can't fly.
I will send some guards to go fetch her. Before you can even respond, though, the front doors fly open.
As soon as Titania drops the shield, the door opens and stumbling in, alarmed and letting out a yelp of surprise, is Basil, who quickly rights himself and makes it look like he wasn't just leaning on the door trying to hear so hard that the door burst open the second it could.
Love it.
And he looks back at Vassell and looks forward like he's confused, and then he sees Ivy, and his face just melts. He's so happy to see her, and he walks over and he's like, "It's so good to see you, Ivy. Are you all right?"
She immediately gives him a giant hug.
Aw, he's like, "My baby," and he just hugs her and puts his hand on the back of her head and holds her so close. Aww. Gives her the biggest snuggle. Says, "I've missed you so much."
I missed you too.
How are you?
Vassell walks in. She's standing beside them. "I am glad you are all right." And she kind of puts her hands in front of her and clasps them in front.
I think Ivy reaches over and puts her hand on top of her mom's.
Bowser moves and puts them all in a group hug.
Vassell looks physically uncomfortable. She goes straight backed, and then as soon as he lets go, she does put her arm around you. Have you ever been hugged by somebody who pushes you off when you hug them? They want to give you a hug, but their body isn't instinctively get away from me. That's what happens. But you're used to it, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As the hug is happening, Basil's like, "Oh, my two favorite women. Lights of my life."
Obsessed, actually. I think once the hug has been completed,
It's meet its end.
and Basil lets go of the two of them, Ivy looks at Titania. If I give you a description of my friends, can you find them?
We can send a scout out when they go get Bia to search for your friends. What do they look like? Tell me everything.
Well, Alara is about Mom's height, and she has red hair. She's a giant green coat that she never, leaves without, and she has a little mechanical spider with her. And Varys is really tall. He's 6'5", I think. Very tall. And they've got long pink hair and a giant fuck all scythe.
I think Visella's writing the descriptions down, and Titania nods to her, and she goes. She actually leaves the room. We will send out a search party, and Bia, we will go get her as well.
She nods.
But you must rest now. It has been trying, I would venture to guess. Yes.
She nods again, and I think she goes. Thank you, by the way.
What for?
For sending the porter that saved us.
She nods. I think that she pulls you into a hug.
And she hugs her back.
And she hugs you really tight. Ivy, I am just very glad that you are safe. I have been very worried about you. We have not heard. And I think at this moment, every letter that you have written Basil, where does Basil keep the book that he writes letters in? Back and forth? Does he keep it on his person, or?
It's on his, I think he's got a little thigh holster that he's finagled.
I think what happens is Basil feels the book start to bulge, and then all of these letters just fly out of it.
I think he looks at it, and he scampers to start grabbing them. He's just oh dear. And he starts grabbing all the papers as they fly. We'll even crouch down and pick them off the floor and tuck them back in to read later because it's important.
He picks one up and reads just a smidge that says sacrifice.
Oh, absolutely. He picks up the one that says, and he sees the word sacrifice on it and looks at Ivy and says, something tells me that you have a lot to tell us, in your own time, of course. But I would love to hear all about your adventures.
And she goes, yes, a lot has happened.
I would see that, or hear that, rather. Your friends, Ivy. How long ago did you get separated?
Just through the portal. We were falling off of a mountain, and I fell off the mountain, and they jumped after me.
There now.
I connected with Bia, and she showed me that I fell through, and then 3 of them also fell through. So I know that they're here somewhere.
I think Titania looks at Basil when she says that they came through the portal as well.
Basil nods, thinking about this information. When people come into the Feywild initially, without a destination in mind, it's often difficult because, they get sorted based on alignment, right?
That is correct, yes.
They could be anywhere in the light, or the in-between, or even the Seelie at this point, but I'm sure we can find them.
But why would Ivy's friends go to the Seelie?
I assume that they wouldn't, but I don't want to be presumptuous. Not everybody is as honest and forthcoming.
I want everybody to make an insight check right now on Ivy.
I got a 15.
I got an 8.
Okay. Yeah, I think Titania sees just a little twitch, but that's it.
Ivy?
She shrugs.
If there is a chance that one of your new friends went to the Seelie court, a few things. 1, we will not send someone to go and get them. And 2, it is very likely that they are dead. If they landed there, or lights preserve us even in the in-between, with no knowledge or bearings of where they are, where they were going, Ivy, I'm so sorry, but I do not know if they would have made it.
And Basil gently kind of rubs Ivy's upper back, trying to be comforting.
I think she slowly nods, and at first her face was a little crestfallen, and then she decides something, and it becomes determined. And I think Ivy goes, all right, well, I'm going to find Alara first, and then I will go from there.
We will find her. You need to rest and recover.
I'm okay.
Ivy, you just told us that you fell off of a mountain and through a portal.
Honestly, that's not even really the worst thing that's happened to me lately. I didn't hit anything, so it was just sort of free-falling.
Titania nods.
Basil looks mortified in a subdued sense.
We will send guards to fetch Bia and to look for your friends in the Seelie. If we do not find them, we will hold a grand ceremony in their name. But that is it. You are in no shape to go anywhere.
I think she looks like she's going to argue, and then she just nods.
Make a deception or a persuasion check.
Yeah, that's a 17.
Do not make me confine you to my chambers, Ivy.
I'm not.
Are you going to go look for them?
I'm going to go to my room.
She smiles a little bit. And what are you going to do after that?
I'm going to get reacquainted with my room.
And then spend time with her father, he says very chipperly.
She nods. I am going to keep a close eye on both of you. Very close. She stares at the both of you, like, pointedly.
She, just sort of smiles at her and she goes, how many butterflies this time?
You watch her kind of, flick her wrist. The one that we saw at the beginning that was on the windowsill comes out of the wood and just flutters around your head. A very close eye.
I think she holds her finger up so the butterfly can land on the finger.
It does. You will go to your estate, the two of you, right now. I will send a healer to look you over, to give you a clean bill of health, make sure there is nothing wrong that we are not seeing. I will send out many guards to scour and search. And she does almost like a whooshing motion with her hand, and you watch 6 butterflies just come out of the woodwork in the windowsills and fly out the window. We will find them if they are here.
One of them for sure is here.
She nods.
I'm just not 100% about the other one, but that's fine.
Do you want to sit down and talk about that right now?
Do you want to learn about it right now?
I want to learn about everything. I want to know where you were. I want to know what you did. How did you come to fall off of a mountain?
We were trying to find the wizard.
She looks at Basil with an eyebrow raise.
Basil is looking at the lovely filigree along the ceiling that he's seen and stared at 1,000 times during council meetings.
I suppose you are dismissed?
Ivy laughs and nods and starts walking out.
Oh, wonderful. Good to see you again, Queen Titania. And Basil kind of walks over and gently puts an arm around Ivy's shoulders, and he's pulls her in a little bit to him, gives her a little squeeze, and is like, why don't we go get some tea and relax?
Sure.
As you both get to the door, Titania goes, Basil, a word.
Oh, or not. He hangs his head. Of course, Your Highness. Oh, one moment. And he turns and walks back in the room.
She closes the door with a motion of her hand, Ivy, and you are left on the outside of the door.
Listening.
Do you walk all the way back up to her?
I think he just walks till he's about 10 feet away from her. He's got to look up quite a bit, so.
Yeah, I was going to say she's standing at her full height. Basil, you have sent her on a wild fairy chase there. She is back now. She is safe. Do not let her go on another chase. This is a command. Do you understand?
So you're saying don't send her to go find her friend? Or let her go try to find her friend in the Seelie port?
That is exactly what I am saying. Our guards will find them. You will keep her close, Basil.
Of course I will.
And she opens the door.
And he turns to go and he stops. He says, you're going to suffocate her one day, and she'll grow to resent you for that. And he continues out.
The doors close a little forcefully behind you. Not like a slam, but harder than normal. And I think you both walk out and you see Vassell sending maybe 10 guards away And she turns to the both of you. All right. They will find your friends. Are you going to rest in Titania's quarters?
No, I'm going home.
And we are to keep a very close eye on her.
Of course we are. Why would we not? You've been away for too long, Ivy.
How long has it been here?
I only know that your father got sadder and sadder each day. So, if I am counting by degrees of sadness, I don't know, Basil, how sad are you feeling today?
You know, up until just moments ago, heartbroken, crestfallen, really. Hadn't had a word.
So perhaps it was 3 months or maybe 3 years?
It's been a while. It always feels like an eternity to the parents, though.
It's been about a month and a half for me.
That is a long time. Estelle looks confused.
She shrugs.
No, it's been almost no time at all compared to here. I often forget the time runs differently there.
I think as they're walking to their estate, Ivy goes, "Oh, do you want to see this new scar I got?"
Your what?
She pulls her like tank top thing back a little bit and shows the scar from the hook horror.
Vassal makes a face.
Oh God, what? What is that from?
Who? What? Why did they not just heal you?
Oh, they don't really do that over there.
They don't do what?
Like major healing?
Since when?
This is news to me.
So, okay, I'll explain. But really quick, this is from what's called a hook horror, and it's like a giant bird thing with hooks.
I recall those, yes. Typically reserved for the subterranean, though.
We collapsed a town. It's fine. Anyways.
Sorry,
Ivy.
No. Back up there. You what?
Let me get through the medicine thing first, and then I'll talk about how I was almost ritually sacrificed.
Obsessed with your priorities. All right.
Yes, so Alara can do a little bit of healing because she's got these nanobots that she programmed to heal. They're basically like bugs that can get into your skin and heal things, but they don't really do healing. They have herbal remedies and potions and stuff, but there's no healing magic.
Why don't they just use their divine magics? If I remember correctly, that world had 20-something gods or some strange number.
She shakes her head. There's none. They all left.
Ivy, are you sure you went to the right plane?
Thylacer.
Elisora.
Correct. We went to Elisora, the continent Thylacer.
Basil.
You know, that doesn't sound anything like the Elisora or Thylacer that I remember.
The first town I went to was called Lothent before the oh shit, what is it called? The Forsaking?
The for what?
The Forsaking. I guess it was this period of time where magic became so volatile that you couldn't use magic without the world basically exploding. And so they decided to go and kill all of their gods because they thought that was the reason why that was happening.
Ivy, if you have just come back here to just play jokes on us,
No.
I am in no mood for it.
There's no jokes, I promise you. No jokes.
They used to do magic all the time. They had grand cities with just
floating components to them,
Yeah, never to rival the Fae, mind you, but
no, you have to actually register your magic signature, and there's different tiers for different things that you can cast.
Basil, Nightbreeze, if I do recall, I think that I said before we sent her, we should just do a little preliminary look at the world to make sure that we were sending her to a safe place. Did I not say that?
Oh, you know, you did. You absolutely did say that. But
And what did you say?
Things have not changed that much, or would not have changed that much. I didn't know how much time has passed. Do you know? What's the year over there?
Over 200 years? Give or take?
So we sent our daughter to a world with no magic, and you fell off a mountain.
To try and get to the wizard, yes.
I thought you said there was no magic.
There's okay, it's hard to explain. I could cast magic, and I met people who could cast magic. Alara and Varys can't, Alara's an artificer, and Varys is a barbarian. But Alara could mimic magic very well. It was actually really cool to see what she could do with that. And I did see people who would do magic, but it was nothing like what we can do here. I do know that Ixalan is still there.
Wow, that's good.
And apparently your family is still around?
Are they?
Vassell makes a face.
Uh-huh. Well, I hope they're doing well.
I don't.
Apparently they're doing very well.
She makes another face.
Good for them.
And not in like a Seelie way, I guess.
Ah, yes, you know, that tracks.
Apparently, yeah.
I'm sort of glad that you didn't go see him.
I wanted to, but Varys said it was probably not a good idea.
Common sense. Alright, so one has sort of heard of your family, I suppose. So, common sense, that's good.
I guess. I mean,
Oh, good, Basil. Maybe you can learn something from him, like not sending your daughter to a world with no magic.
Well, she couldn't stay here. You needed to get out, Ivy. You couldn't. You were suffocating here, Ivy. I couldn't let you continue like that.
Make an insight check, Ivy.
okay. Dirty 20.
As Basil says that, Ivy, I think that you look over at Vassell, and two things happen. First thing is, she looks at Basil like, shut up, stop talking, and she puts back on her armor, in a sense, I think, and she kind of stands taller, and you see her body get stiff, and she kind of straightens her head, and she's just walking straight forward now. Something you're used to seeing, you know?
I think Basil clears his throat and says, I just think you needed a change of pace.
She nods. I mean, I wasn't all that terrible. There was a lot of walking, which really sucked. Because you can't just... I guess portals are technically illegal there, so we couldn't just, like, portal to locations. Aside from the some of the things that happened, it was fine.
Would you want to go back?
I think so. I mean, especially if Alara and Varys want to go back, which I have a feeling because Alara needs to get to her symposium, and Varys, I don't know if Varys is going to want to go back, but I think he'll follow kind of Alara wherever she goes.
I'll be interested to meet your friends.
I think you'll like them.
She'll find them.
They'll be found, for sure.
But in the interim, tell me all about your adventures.
So let's start with me getting sniffed.
Ivy, you're walking with your parents, talking about your adventures, when all of a sudden you hear a very familiar voice calling your name further down the hall, and you hear some disgruntled voices saying, "Shut up."
Ivy! Ivy Nightbreeze Tinkerfay!
I immediately start booking it. I don't even I think I'm mid-sentence and I just start hauling ass.
Okay.
Fastest my parents have ever seen me run. Thanks so much for listening. We're incredibly grateful for the love and support.
And P.S., if you want more content, check out our Patreon for free clips, bonus scenes, and if you join the Red Rogues, you'll get access to the Rainbow Dice Club chat and after show where we talk about past episodes.
If you're enjoying the show, please consider leaving us a 5-star review and tell your friends about us.
Special thanks to our Green Fiend Patreon supporters, Jen Bear and Michael.
And with that, our story pause is here for today. Join us next time as we continue our adventures, and remember, it's never too late to start your own.
Bye!
Sorry.
Is that the noise the butterflies make?
Yeah, that's the butterfly makes. Just the butter.
As it's fighting through the birds to get to where it needs to go.
Fuck you.
But instead, it flutters. Oh, Jesus Christ. Commas. I need to use them.
Sometimes I think, Ari, if you and I merged our writing, we'd become like a super author, because I have
Really?
super short sentences. You have the long sentences, and we could just
Combine our powers.
Combine the powers.
For real.
It's Mighty Morphin time. Let's go.
Yeah, I love a good short sentence, man.
Mhm.
Sometimes my sentences are 3 words long.
So I love a good short sentence when I am in a character's headspace, but for narration stuff like this, I'm like, ooh, it's gotta be, right. Like that's the energy. But when I'm writing a POV, I do like to do short sentences because I think of it more as like a stream of conscious,
Mm-hmm.
She says, I have a line that gets me into her voice now, and it's Basil, you would deny a command from your queen. So hold on, let me just say that so I can get the voice.
Hold on.
I am obsessed. I have my dice. You think I would know to bring them for D&D, but
Meh.
It's been so long.
it has.
I walk out and close the door, leaving one Bonewolf and one queen of the Seelie court.
Who will win? Fight!
Fight to
Fight,
the
little
death.
Round 1.
And through that, my hand was in my face.
And through that.
And through that, coming, truck 1, 2, 3.
The portals work. The portals.
The portals.
The portals.
I think she can.
Go ahead. No,
No, go ahead.
And you feel her spindly fingers now. You feel her.
Jesus Christ.
Little fingers.
Stop making me laugh.
I'm not doing anything. This man has had his ear clasped to the door for the last 10 minutes. Showing as much restraint as he possibly can.